Hey everyone, welcome to another session of Creative Art Time, a weekly live series where we create and talk about art together. If you're new here, I'm a self-taught artist from the Netherlands and I mostly create realistic portrait drawings with pencil, but I also use other mediums like charcoal, pastel, watercolors. I just love being creative. So today we're going to sketch eyes together. Eyes are one of my favorite things to draw. So when I started drawing, I drew a lot of eyes, different sizes, different angles. It's just a great way to practice and make drawing feel more natural. Okay, so we'll get started in a moment, and this live session will be a bit shorter this time, around half an hour, because I'm going to a birthday dinner after this. But if you have any questions along the way, feel free to ask them in the chat anytime. Okay, so let's get started. And I have a mechanical pencil. This is Graph Gear. This is a 2B, 0.5 millimeter, but you can just use any pencil, an HB or 2B. And I want to show you normally when I draw realistically, I layer, and I always say not to use more pressure, but switch to a darker pencil grade. But this, with sketching, I just use one pencil. And let me show you. So you can use like light pressure, medium pressure, and then harder pressure for the darker values, you see? So with just one pencil, you can even go really even lighter, maybe a bit darker. Yeah, so like 5 values with just one pencil, just by controlling the pressure that you're using. So I start with the sketch, and then I'm not really going to shade it realistically, but just shade this and see how we go. And then this is the pressure that I'm going to use and change with the drawing. So let's see. First, when I sketch something, I usually like to start with a middle line. In this case, I'm going to start with a straight eye and an 3/4 view looking to the right, and then also another eye 3/4 view looking to the left, just to differ and show you how to sketch different angles of eyes. So let's start with the front eye view. And for that, it's simple, because we're going to start with a straight middle line. So look where you want to draw your sketch, and then start with a middle line, because then you can draw the eye on this middle line. Okay, so usually I have the middle of the eye, like the pupil, on the middle line. But let's start with the top eyelid. So it will be around here, and then the lower eyelid will be around here. And the inner corner is usually a bit lower than the outer eye corner. So we're going to draw the inner corner a bit lower than the middle line. And then you can draw this curved line. So you can keep the middle line actually a bit lighter, because you're going to, you could erase that later, but just sketching, you don't have to use a lot of pressure, because if you need to correct, you want to be able to erase. But this is just a sketch. So just start by sketching something, your first shapes, and then you can always correct when you need. Okay, so this part is a bit lower. So let's draw the how do you say it? Yeah, the inner corner. And then we have the lash line. So let's curve that a bit. But then you also have the water line. And then that's usually a bit curved here. And then it's a bit higher than the lash line. So just curve that a bit. Okay, the crease line is a bit higher than the upper eyelid. Yeah, depending on which type of eye you're going to draw. And let's curve that. So you're going to, usually it's a bit more straight in the middle. And then you can curve it a bit down, following the curve of the eye. And then here you see that it's a bit more straight, straighter, and then it curves down here to the middle line. Okay, so that's the crease line. And then for the eyebrow, you can usually, yeah, it's just a bit higher. So let's say here, and then here it curves down. And usually there's a crease line below the eye as well. And then for the iris, here you have the inner corner and the line. So this is like the eyeball. And then the upper eyelid is covering a part of the iris. So the iris is a circle, but you don't see the full circle. Okay, so you can kind of make the movement and then draw the circle. So here it's covering a bit, and here. So you see that I don't just draw it at once. I draw it in smaller, like I go smaller strokes. That helps me. And I use Mono 0 eraser because it's really small, just to erase smaller areas if I need to. And then the pupil is in the middle. And a small highlighted area there. Okay, so let's focus on the eyebrow. The eyebrow hairs, they usually go up here at the beginning, and then a bit more to the right. And here they go down, but then with smaller hairs. Okay, so let's darken the upper eyelid. So once you're satisfied with the sketch of your eye, if you're satisfied with the shape, you can start to go over some. And now I'm starting to use a bit more pressure. If you're satisfied with the placement, then you can start to use a bit more pressure. And the top part of the iris is usually a bit more in shadow. Let's draw, or no, let's go over the iris a bit, and then we can draw the lashes. So usually the edge of the iris is a bit darker. Let's just darken that a bit. And I'm not going to use a blending stump or anything else. I'm just going to use this one pencil with lighter pressure and harder pressure. I'm going to go over the iris to darken some more. And then the edges of the pupil. And then the edges of the pupil, add some shading. Like that. The lashes. So you want to, first I draw them lighter, and then the next layer I go over them. So just like with light pressure. And you see how I leave some space between them. I don't just draw them like all of these lines. They curve a bit, they taper, That's how you can create natural eyelashes. But it's all about practice. You know, the more often you practice this for yourself, the more natural drawing will feel, and you will get better at it. So you're actually training your hand to draw what you want. And the feeling of light pressure, medium pressure, hard pressure, that will all become more natural, that feeling, once you start to draw more often and practice. It's all about practice. You're training your hand, but also your eye to look for details and shapes. Let's make this a bit dark. So now you see that I'm darkening, but only at the base of the lashes. I don't go over the tips because you want to keep those lighter if you want them to look natural. And then a few lashes here are going more down towards the inner corner. Okay, so now the lower lashes, let's lighten this line because there isn't really a line. The lower lashes are lighter, thinner, so I'm using really light pressure, just drawing them with a quick curved stroke and also following the direction. Usually here at the middle they go straight down or more straight. Here they curve a bit more. And now I'm darkening only the base, just really carefully to make them look more natural. Now let's go over the eyebrow with another layer. To darken. And let's darken here. I'm going to really light, just add a bit shading here. Just to make it all look round, more round. And I'm just going to use my finger a bit just to smudge it all. Usually the inside of the eye also has a bit shading. Let's erase the guideline. So here the inside is also some shading here. So now I'm using really light pressure when I add some shading. And you can continue this further, like shade this more realistically if you like. This is just a sketchbook practice of sketching eyes. And a bit more here. Okay, so that's the front view of the eye. Let's darken here a bit. What pencil am I using for the sketch? This is a Graph Gear. This is just a mechanical pencil. You can use any brand you have. This is a 0.5 thickness and 2B. So you don't have to use a mechanical pencil, just any pencil that you have. Valda says, I can hear you, but I have a black screen. Can you maybe refresh your browser or close the browser and open it again? That might help. So you can use any pencil when sketching. This is a 2B because with the HB you can't get darker values. So I just use a 2B pencil and then I use light pressure and more pressure. That's the pencil I'm using. Okay, so I'm just going to darken. Okay, so let's move on to the other angle. Yes, Valda is the back. You can see it. Great. So let's move on to the other angle. And for this, because the eye is a bit angled, I'm going to draw the middle line angled so that I can follow the angle instead of drawing it straight like the other one. Okay, so here we also have the upper eyelid and the lower eyelid. And let's draw this a bit curved like this, following the angle of the line. And again, the lower, the inner corner is a bit lower than the middle line. So the same. And then we have the crease line. So in this case, because the eye is turned a bit, you see more on this side than on that side. Here you see a crease. And because you're looking at the eye a bit from below, you usually see the upper eyelid and then the lashes. Just like here, the below waterline. Here you see the waterline below, but here you see the upper waterline. Okay, so let's clean this up, make this middle line a bit lighter. Okay, so follow the angle. The iris will be here, and then the pupil will be on the middle line. Okay, so again, the top part is covering the part of the iris. And there's a reflection in the pupil. Let's erase the middle line a bit. And there's a crease line below the eyebrow, like this, and like that. Let's darken the iris a bit. Okay, so if you're happy with the angle, you can start to define the sketch bits. And you can correct a few areas if you need to. Let's go over. So you see again here, it's a bit straight, and then it curves. And then here it's shorter because of perspective. So you see less of this part. Okay. No screen issues on my end. Great. I'm glad it's all working. So sometimes I know that if you have that problem with a live session, then it's best to refresh the screen or just close it. That could be because it's live. Okay, so shorter eyebrow hairs here. and longer here, and just follow the direction. Use a bit more pressure to darken. And I'm going to add a bit of shading here before I add the lashes. And normally I don't use my finger, but this is just really quick. So if you're going to be sketching, if you're going to travel somewhere and you just want to use your sketchbook, or you don't want to travel with too much materials, drawing materials, just a sketchbook, mechanical pencil, because there's also an eraser here at the back. You don't need a sharpener with the mechanical pencil, so that's great. Just a sketchbook, one mechanical pencil, and that's it. You don't need a blending stump, you can just use your finger. I wouldn't recommend it for more professional drawings, but for a sketchbook, everything is fine. Let's draw the lashes now. Okay, so here they go up, they curve a bit here, and again, light pressure first. Once you're satisfied with them, then you can, here they go a bit more to the left, here they start to curve this way. So once you're satisfied, then you can go over them. Really light pressure at the tips, keeping them natural. And the lower lashes, curved. You see that I draw them really quick. Don't think too much, just draw a curved line. And if you need practice to draw tapered lines, yeah, practice this on another piece of paper. I'm going to add some shading here. Again, practice really helps. Darken a few areas, darken the lower lashes just a bit. Okay. Darken this a bit. Yeah, I think that's okay for this eye sketch. So we have a front view, 3/4 view. Now I want to draw an eye looking this way, but also 3/4. So again, I'm going to draw the middle line, but then angled. And the inner corner will be on this side, and the outer corner will be here. The crease line will be up here. So let's see, the upper eyelid, this is the upper eyelid, the lower eyelid, and the crease line. In this case, it's more curved because we're seeing less of the eye is more from the side. Here it goes a bit lower, and let's see how this is a bit too curved. And then we have a bit of the waterline. And then we're having the iris. So this is the inner part. And you know, like I said, I have a lot of experience drawing eyes, different angles, but it really helps if you look at different portraits or eyes just online. Maybe Google them and just have a look at how everything changes once the angle changes, how you see less of the inner corner once the angle changes. And if you have a lot of practice with drawing different eyes, different angles, then you will know how it looks. And I always say, when you're drawing from a reference, try not to think about what you see, but really draw exactly what you see, even though it looks strange. Sometimes it can look strange, especially from different angles. This one is also a challenging angle, at least I think so. Let's look at the eyebrow. Will be angled like that, following the same angle. So the inner corner. Yeah, so again, it all comes down to practice. So if you're feeling a bit like a beginner and feel like you need more practice, well then challenge yourself to draw more often or to sketch more often. Let's see, the lashes. The lashes are longer here. And then here they're really, they're more, to the front. So that we don't really see them. And then here it goes down. It even goes down. That's usually with these angled eyes. Okay, let's erase this a bit so we can focus on the shape. Going to add a bit shading. And the lower lashes. Almost straight here, curve just a bit, and then here to the front. Let's add some shading here. Darken the crease line. The eyebrow. So again, it all goes up, and then here it goes a bit more to the right. And then here it starts to get shorter and more to the right. A bit more pressure where you want to darken. Nope. So the smaller eraser is really easy for these smaller sketches. And yeah, just adding, once you're satisfied, let's see, adding some more shading here, the definition. Again, like I said, I think this angle is tricky, but that's the reason why you would want to practice this more often instead of just drawing straight eyes from the front. I think that's better. to practice some more. Let's go over the iris. Darken. And I really like the mechanical pencil, how smooth it is. So I do like the, yeah, again, you can just use normal graphite pencils, but I really like the smoothness, especially of this graph gear. So I'm not saying you need to use this one, but I really like using this one for sketches. Just some final touches here and there, and yeah, as a perfectionist, I always like to continue and keep on going. But I think I'm going to wrap this up because, like I said, I don't have a lot of time today, but I still wanted to sketch these eyes. And yeah, I hope that I gave you something to practice with. You can still continue. You can look up any reference of some eyes and then start sketching. Practice, practice. Darken a bit here. Here. Just adding some more definition to the eye. It's always tricky when you're just sketching something. What are you going to add for the shading? How to still make it look a bit yeah, more realistic and not just like a sketch, when you're not going to add all of that shading. So just some of that roundness to it. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to wrap this up and leave it like this. Like I said, I can just continue adding details, shading, but yeah, this is it. 3 eyes, different views, and yeah, I'm satisfied with how it turned out. I hope you were you have something that you can practice with and continue shading. Okay, so that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this live session. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you found this helpful. Also, let me know if you like these kind of sketching sessions. If you'd like to get updates and reminders, you can join my email list. There's a link below the video. And maybe if you're interested in learning more from me, you can check out my art courses, or if you want more guidance, my art membership will help you learn from the beginning in a structured way. So you will practice and get helpful feedback whenever you need. And my goal is to help you improve your drawing skills with step-by-step video lessons and help you move forward on your artistic journey. So here is one of our latest art projects. Created this one with charcoal, graphite, and pan pastel. So if you'd like to join us, you'll find all the details in the link below. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you everyone for joining. I hope to see you next week. Have a nice day or evening. Bye bye.